Ha, Nyi K'omi, Nyi Ki, Jiwere Nutachi Nyi Ki, Tunampi Hakiraje Ki, Edmund Ida Hamina Ki. I'm Kennetha Greenwood, and I just greeted you in my language. I said hello. My name is Nyi K'omi. Nyi is water, K'o is the sound that the water makes when it hits the rocks. And I was given this name by my great-grandmother when I was about 7, and she said I was like water that made my own path, and so she thought this name was appropriate for me. And I said I'm Otoe-Missouria, Bear Clan, and I live in Edmond. I'm going to share a little bit of our culture with you today and some of our language. So the Otoe-Missouria tribe is comprised of 7 clans, and it's represented in our tribal seal. They are the bear, the buffalo, the beaver, the elk, eagle, pigeon, and owl. And originally they included the wolf and the snake, but these 2 clans died out, and the pigeon and the owl clan came later. So in our language, here's how you would say each clan animal. Wolf would be sunta, sunta. Snake, wakon, wakon. Bear is munje, munje. Buffalo is che, che. Beaver, rawe, rawe. Pigeon is rusje, rusje. And then owl would be mankoge, mankoge. So each clan had a responsibility or duty that they carried out for the tribe. For example, the bear and the buffalo were considered leaders, and they would lead in different seasons and lead the tribe at that time and take turns during their season. Otos also called themselves Jiwere, and Jiwere is meaning those who arrived. The word Oto actually comes from the Iwe, but actually the Otoe-Missouria and the Iwe all speak the same language pretty much, except for a different dialect, and some words might be different. But the Iwe gave the Otos this name, and it was because of their ability to hunt in the fog. And Uto is, U is in, and To is fog. And they used the fog for cover during battle because they knew the land and the area so well, and they were such great warriors that they would attack their enemy in the fog. So that is why they called them Uto. And then the Missouria called themselves Nutachi. Well, I don't know if they called themselves that or if someone else gave them that name, but they were called Nutachi. And they were camping at the mouth of the water, and they were attacked by another tribe, and it took place a long time ago, but their enemy had them surrounded, and their only way to get out and get away was to cross a rushing river. And when they did, a lot of their tribal members perished, so that's why they called themselves Nutachi. And then there are 2 states that recognize our tribe through their names, one of them being obvious, which is Missouri, and it also includes the river as well. And it isn't actually Otoe-Missouria word, but Missouri, the Missouri tribe was called the people of the dugout canoe by the Illinois tribe, and this was recognized by the French explorers, and so they called them Wimouzoui. So that's where the word Missouri came from. And then there's Nebraska, which is actually an Otoe-Missouria word, and it's Nyi Brothke, and that means flat water. Nyi is the water, Brothke is flat, and they were referring to the Platte River because it runs so slowly and smoothly, and parts at the top of the river just looks flat, so they called it Nyi Brothke. And then with the English pronunciation, it later became Nebraska. And then there's another town that my grandmother said where we used to dig wild potatoes, and that's Topeka, Kansas. And our word for wild potato is dough, and then they had good potatoes, so they said PK, so it was dough PK. And it later became Topeka. So the Otoe-Missouria were a woodlands tribe, and they were surrounded by the beauty and the nature and the flowers and all the different plants that you would find in the forest. And so the designs that you would see in our artwork or utilitarian devices or in our patterns of our clothing are a lot of floral patterns and geometrical designs. And those geometrical designs are actually just abstract floral patterns. And they respected and had reverence for the nature and the beauty that surrounded them, and recognized the blessings and provisions that Wakanda, and that is one of our words for creator, and the things that were provided for them through this nature, and wanted to represent that in everything that they created. So you can see these designs and what I'm wearing. This is a type of ribbon work that appeared when they started doing trading for material. It used to be sewn by hand, and I have a piece of my great-grandmother's hand-stitched, 2 pieces actually of her hand-stitched work, and you can see the intricate little crisscross designs and how much time it took to do that and create a whole outfit like that. These are just 2 small examples of her work, but you can also see the floral patterns along the bottom of my skirt. And this dress was made by my mom, Joanne Aitson, and she learned to sew from her grandma. And she makes a lot of our outfits for different tribal members and our past princesses. And you can also see the floral patterns in my moccasins, and they're made of buckskin. And the beadwork on them was these are all handmade by my son, so all of our stuff is made by hand. And you can see the floral patterns in these as well, and this is actually one of my great-grandmother's old patterns. Another thing you'll notice is the silver buttons that we have on our shirts. A lot of times they like to adorn them. These actually came after they started trading with people, but the silver buttons on the shirt and sometimes on the skirt came from trade, and they adorned themselves with a lot of silver. We always wore like a lot of rings and necklaces and bracelets, and actually some of these bracelets were my great-grandmother's, and this actual necklace here belonged to my great-great-grandmother. And we just I guess we liked a lot of bling, and so we dress this way. This is our traditional dress. So I have some images of how the men dressed back then, and you can see the floral designs in their clothes as well. And a lot of it was beadwork, or they have some ribbon work as well. And they adorn their shirts and aprons and sometimes their leggings with beadwork. The shirts were sometimes made of buckskin, but also material after they started trading. They used a material called broadcloth, which was a heavy wool, to make their aprons and leggings, and still make them out of buckskin as well too. Many times you'll see their head with the otter cap, or what we call roaches, and that's made of the soft porcupine hair. They also wore turbans made of yarns woven together called finger weaving. We still respect today, we still show our respect today for the beauty of the land that we came from in our dance clothes. And especially at our homecoming, our annual encampment where we gather every 3rd weekend in July to come together to fellowship and share meals, introduce our children to the arena, and just to dance. Some try to keep their clothes as traditional as possible, and others have evolved with a more contemporary look. So I'll close out with some scenes from our dance arena of our annual encampment, and you can get a glimpse of what this experience is like. Warikroki.
Go